because you're not in a lab class, you don't need this stuff yet. If you're doing 100, 101, 102, you'll need it for 102, so you got about 8 weeks before you need any of this stuff. So besides the 3-ring binder we kind of already mentioned, you're going to need to have a pair of welding gloves, which is basically 100% leather, gauntlet style welding gloves, kind of like something like this. No cotton on this end, it's all leather, 100% leather, okay? Find something that fits, find something that's good. Don't skim too much, they're not that expensive anyway, and I'll kind of mention discounts. You will need to have, where's that? You also need to have a welding jacket. That's probably the bigger of any of the purchases. And even then, if you just go with the greens, if you kind of see the greens up there, those are like 16 to 20 bucks at the most. Okay, just make sure that when you order it, yeah.
Can we use sleeves? Or do you...
Yeah, you can. Depends on the process. You know, TIG welding obviously is probably fine. MIG welding, if it's vertical, not so much.
Right.
But for horizontal flat, it's okay. Yeah, sleeves are okay to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Just kind of, you know, you got to be aware of what process you're using. Make sure if you go to order a welding jacket, get it like 2 sizes bigger than you normally buy. Because A, you kind of want the extra room, and B, they're notoriously small and really short arms. I have no idea why. But if I got one my size, I want like this, the sleeve would be here. I'm not sure why, but that's how it works. So get a couple sizes bigger. Make sure you got nice, big, flowy. You don't want fitted jackets. Fitted jackets mean sparks get to your skin way, way faster. Okay. You will need a welding cap, some kind of cap. Whether it is literally the cheapy kind of little beanie thing to put on your head, or you can get something like more like the tie-off back one. You can get one that kind of looks like a ball cap, except for the brim actually covers the back of your neck. That's how those are designed. Regular ball caps, not such a great idea. They don't fit low enough generally, and there's a synthetic material in a lot of them. And so synthetic material, when it lights on fire, is napalm on the top of your head. Not a good thing. Okay? Long sleeve shirts are preferable because you just want an extra layer of stuff, but that also means that make sure it's a long sleeve shirt that you don't mind putting holes in, because you will get holes put into them. Sparks will go through the coat into those sleeves. Yep. So buy something cheap. A lot of times I'll just have like Old Navy long sleeve t-shirts. I'll just throw on and then the coat over that. So whatever. Jeans or work pants. Make sure you don't have any frayed ends and no cuffs. That's in the lab while you're welding. Cuffs will trap the sparks and will light on fire. Frayed ends are little wicks waiting to light up, and those will burn up pretty quick. So I prefer jeans over work pants myself. I think jeans actually give you a little bit more protection, but that's all totally up to you. Just make sure that, you know, they're not really, really good ones, or you might burn them up. Leather boots. I tend to have some leather boots that I usually will wear. I'm not in the lab today, so I didn't wear them today. It's not required. Just make sure that your shoes don't have any like mesh in the top where sparks can get through. So as long as they're pretty covered shoes, they don't have to necessarily be leather work boots. So I'm not super big stickler on that one, but you know, you don't want to get burns on your feet. Burns on your feet are like the worst. They don't heal up very good, no matter how healthy you are, because you're putting socks on, you're putting shoes on and stuff. It doesn't breathe very good. It takes forever for burns to heal on your feet. So not a good thing to have on your feet. You know, so we want to try to protect that. It's not so bad. You're on a stool a lot of time when you're sitting, so even like right now, I kind of tuck my feet up under me anyway. So you're not really getting a ton of sparks on your feet, but there is that occasion where you're cutting something, you might get some sparks that hit your feet. The other thing is, at some point walking through the lab, you might end up walking on something that's hot, whether it's a rod end or some kind of chunk of slag or something. So you don't want anything with thin soles because that'll melt through pretty fast. As far as the personal protection gear outside of that stuff, you will need to have safety glasses. If you wear glasses, that is fine. If we're grinding, there are full face shields to use back there, so you can put those on. So I'm not requiring people that wear glasses to have side shields. I tend to actually have contacts on most of the time, so I usually have just regular safety glasses, but you know, just my regular glasses. I don't really stress it too much. I'll just wear those back there. Hearing protection. It can get fairly loud back there once grinders start up and things like that. So if you're sensitive to for your ears, get some plugs that fit good. They're very, very cheap, so you know that's not a real big cost. If you happen to be back there and you run into a point where it is too loud for you, come and see me. I've got a big bag of just the squeezy little roll-up earplugs that you kind of roll them up, put them in, and they kind of expand. I've got a huge bag of them. So I can always get you some hearing protection, but you know, everybody kind of has different things. Some fit better than others. If you like those, great. If you don't, you might want to find something else. There's different ones. There's baffled ones. There's all kinds of things. As far as personal tools, there's only a couple things that are kind of required. You will need to have a pair of either channel locks or pliers. These are going to be always on you because this is what you're going to move hot pieces of steel around the lab. We don't juggle a hot piece of steel in our gloves. So you're moving them around with channel locks or pliers. I like channel locks because you get a nice big grip on it, and something nice and big and heavy like this, you can still carry it around and put it into the quench tank, where you can't do that with pliers. The other thing is a measuring tape, some kind of measuring tape, because you will be laying out your own steel to cut. Along with that, you can actually get away, because we're not cutting really huge pieces, you can get away with using a combination square. If you don't know what a combination square is, it's actually a really useful tool in steel. I find that this is one of my favorite tools, I always have. It's basically, you've got the ruler, you've got a 90, you can run straight edges off this. If you're just marking things, you run a straight edge. If you want to do a long cut, you can actually put your little marker there and kind of slide it. You've got a level, you've got a 45, so that's why it's a combination square. It's got all kinds of different things you can use them. They're pretty cheap. I mean, you can spend big money on them if you wanted to, or you can, you can get your throwaway ones from Harbor Freight, whatever you want to do. So, as far as chipping hammer or wire brush, there are people out there, always students, that want their own stuff. If you want your own stuff, you'll need a chipping hammer or wire brush. If you don't want to know what a chipping hammer is, in stick welding, this is what we use to chip away the slag off of the weld. If you don't need them, we've got plenty back there, but like I say, there are different types, so if you prefer to have your own, make sure you get a chipping hammer or wire brush. Groove weld pliers are not required at all, but if you want your own stuff, this is a pretty useful tool to have. This is basically what most people think of as a vice grip. Vice grip is actually a trade name. These are actually locking pliers. But this is a groove weld locking plier. You can lock your pieces in, line everything up, and then you can tack in between instead of having to move this away and not, tighten it on the other side. So you can tack. So these are actually designed for welding. The only thing that I don't have on here that I forgot to put on is that you will need to pick up a sweat band that goes in the shields. You don't need a shield. We have shields. We have really nice shields. You can use your own shield if you prefer to bring your own shield in there. Absolutely, use your own shield. But we do have pretty nice shields back there. But you'll need to have your own sweat band so you can put that in and out when you use them. We've got disinfecting wipes. You wipe out the inside and outside. We've had no Ebola outbreaks or anything like that, so it's been pretty good back there. You doing it the way we've been doing it. So We actually have speed glass 9100s, so these are top of the line shields. So if you're good with that, great. If you have your own that you just prefer,
From auto lens,
what's that?
it's auto lens.
All auto. Yep, digital. Yep. Yep, the 9100s XX, which are besides the ones that have the fans built in, those are the most expensive ones that have recently. So,
How's the ventilation in that lab?
really good.
Really?
Yeah, we've got a brand new ventilation system that we put in last year, or actually the end of 14.
Cool.
Yes, in the booth, which is like a megaphone. It's
Yeah, it
something
is. You can
there.
move it
You
around.
can
So
move
if
it.
you, so
Yeah,
if
you
you
can
want
move
to
it
do like
around.
an overhead or something, you can move the vent like above it, so it's
Yeah.
catching all the fumes and stuff. So.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we've got you taken care of as far as that side goes. It's pretty good. I always say, make sure you go to a welding supply store. The welding supply stores are going to, you kind of almost think that it's going to be more expensive. Generally, it's not. Like gloves. A lot of them will have gloves made with their insignia on it. Wyandotte has theirs. And they usually have Black Stallion make their gloves, which are really, really nice gloves. And then, you can buy those for like $7, $8, maybe $12 at certain ones, but that's not too bad for protection on your hands. That's a pretty good investment. They're much better than what you can buy at Harbor Freight. They really are. So, anytime you go to any welding supply store, ask for a student discount. Most of them will give you a 10% student discount at the minimum. Okay. We do buy our stuff through Wyandotte Welding. If you're able to get down to Wyandotte Welding, they will extend my discount to you, which is more like 20–25% off. And half the time they just take care of you. They'll throw all kinds of stuff in. They'll go, oh yeah, $30. I mean, they're really good working with our students. They've been doing this for a long time for us. They're nice guys. There's no issues there. Certain places, nice is a relative term. So, surly is probably the more common term for a lot of places. But they're really good guys over at Wyandotte, and so I don't get any kickbacks from them or anything. They do extend my discount to you guys, so that's usually what I suggest if you can get down there. You're going to save probably the most money there. Your tools and stuff. You don't have to buy your tools through them, but just for your general supplies, you need safety glasses. I mean, their safety glasses are like $2.95. It may even be cheaper than that. So you can get all your stuff through them if you want to. Again, if you're in the 100 and you're doing 102, you don't need this stuff for about 8 weeks. If you're going to be moving things a little faster, obviously you'll need stuff a little bit faster. So. Any questions? Everybody feeling good about this? Okay. So, essentially what happens here is, for those that want to take off, you're welcome to go ahead and take off. If you want a quick little tour of the lab, it'll be a 5-minute quick little tour of the lab. We'll walk through there. Yes?
Question with like the footwear, do we have to have safety toe or?
No, we're not moving heavy pieces of stuff around, so I don't wear. I mean, I've got metatarsal covered ones that I could wear. I don't wear those things. Yeah. So no, I actually have just the regular, like the mock style electrical leather boots. Anything else? Yeah, this is a quick little plug, and then I'm just going to mark That's just way too much print right now. Yeah, we start next week. Yes. gonna be like, I
hour.
thought it was gonna be, I thought it was gonna be like last year, you come in like
30 minutes an hour.
Like that,
Go,
yeah.
you know.
Okay, go. And then this is like the floating now.
no, you don't, you guys don't have to sign out on this thing. Just getting along with everybody who's here. He's not me, I don't know.